Hello guys and welcome to my channel. In today's video I wanted to go through Fiddlesticks announced rework and all the updates that we've got so far. And granted it's a bit late, the last post was done on the official website around I think a month ago or so, a little less than that. But this video is before the actual announcement of Fiddlesticks overall with his skills and everything. We got some teasers that I'll be going through, but it's just my personal predictions. I'm of course excited for the rework overall, but I think there are a few things that are not necessarily concerning me, but I wish are done well in terms of not like totally altering the champion in the process of the rework. Let's start with lore. I'm going to be going through lore, design, skills, and just overall. But I think the lore is the most straightforward aspect of his rework. As you can tell from Fiddlesticks' design, he doesn't necessarily look like he belongs in any region. And therefore they are gonna keep him universal. And that's what they said when they were describing him. And I'm reading from the post that they recently made saying that Fiddlesticks is a name a child would coin, something you might invoke around a campfire to scare your friends. And so basically it's going to be the boogeyman of the Rift. Very fitting and very versatile in terms of just not worrying too much about, you know, his background. One thing though, and it's not necessarily directly related to lore, it will help me transition to the next point, which is design, where the new design, and I'm gonna try and put some pictures in the video, is a little too mechanical looking for my personal taste. The original Fiddlesticks has elements in his design and his kind of like body and aesthetic that are a little more organic. So if you look at the current Fiddlesticks before rework, he has what look like branches, wood, hay, a cloth, and overall just very earthy. But if you look at the image that they officially announced and put on the post, he does look a little more mechanical with the metallic claw, with the chest cage looking thing, and there's a saw on his shoulder. So it definitely is still similar in terms of how he looks, but it is, in my opinion, a departure from his old fantasy base design to a more modern mechanical base design. And I know that they're trying to keep him universal, but for some reason these elements, mechanical elements, kind of make him look like he could potentially be a possessed machine from Zon, which is the undercity of Piltover. If anyone's interested in the lore and the universe of League would know. So that's kind of an interesting creative decision, I'd say. I think that the fantasy aspect is always kind of like dear to my heart. And I've only been playing League for about a year, and I had, you know, I played quite a few games with Fiddlesticks, and I was really attracted to his fantasy aspect of like a possessed scarecrow. But I feel there is a lot of inspiration from the Praetorian look of Fiddlesticks. Moving on to design, he definitely is looking far more scarier. He looks goofy, of course, before the rework. It was part of his charm. He was quirky, if I may say. But now he looks more... properly possessed as like a character that you would see in a scary game, such as Resident Evil or Silent Hill or The Grudge. And I love that. I think also another thing on the design, I think they did a really good job in making him look organic in his stance and movement and overall model. I think to me, they salvaged the mechanic design. Also, now he has a pretty cool scythe. I feel the scythe in the original design was more aesthetic, but it didn't really serve any purpose. And I feel that they will most likely have a purpose for it now with the rework. And this point kind of takes me to the third thing that I wanted to talk about, which is skills. Of course, we know that the point and click fear will still remain in the kit as was announced. And the ultimate will also still exist the way that we know it. And there is a clip of it that they've already shared of him performing his ultimate, the Crow Storm, I think it's called. So that basically leaves two skills that are up for updating or changing, which is the bat thing that he throws that bounces around and the lifesteal. And from what I predict, I feel that there is going to be some type of clone mechanism, something similar to like LeBlanc or Shaco or Nico, where he could deceive people and it's a 50-50 chance of you either catching him or being punished. It has been hinted, and I think that works really well because what usually happens from my experience is when you ulti in as Fiddlesticks, you become quite vulnerable afterwards and you're just stuck there with your storm but with no actual escape. So you, most of the time, unless you have Zonias, you end up just suiciding. So I think they will probably add one of those skills, and then the other skill that I'm expecting, and that might be around his scythe, which is kind of an AoE damage skill. All of his skills from pre-rework are kind of point and click towards one champion, either lifesteal from one champion or the bouncy bat thing from one champ. So it's all like directed at one champion, but I feel they might give him something that is more AoE that he could perform while doing his ulti. In terms of the clone or escape mechanism or trickery mechanism that they've been hinting at it's definitely going to be included. I wish if it was part of his passive, because the current passive gives you some movement speed and other things when you've been standing still for a while, but it's really not that impactful. It does help a little bit with the ultimate, but I think they could do a better job with the passive itself. And we've seen in a lot of the reworks that happened last year, such as, Pantheon, for example, they did improve his skills overall. So it's not just a Q, W, and E. The Q can become another thing if you perform X task. So like Kiana has 3 Qs instead of just 1. So I think they might be doing something like that with the ability, or at least I'm hoping. So yeah, that's kind of it regarding the skills. And overall, I absolutely adore Fiddlesticks. I think he is, again, I'm going to use the word quirky to describe him. He's fun to play. I've enjoyed playing him. The least in the jungle, surprisingly. I've really enjoyed playing him most in support and mid lane. He does a really good job in these lanes. Not sure about competitive play, but definitely for casual play. So I hope that they don't try and push him into one lane and make him like a pure jungler. The other thing is I'm really expecting them to try and make him a little more kind of skill based in terms of his abilities. So there will be some skill expression in terms of the new abilities. It's not going to be a simple point and click. The only thing that you had to kind of work around and be a little creative with was the ultimate before the rework. So I'm assuming after the rework there will be more of skill expression expected from the players. And yeah, I think overall I'm really optimistic about Fiddlesticks, but I'm also a bit nostalgic because I know this Fiddlesticks that I know that I've been playing, and this is the first time that it happens to me. As I mentioned before, I've only been playing League of Legends for about a year now, and Fiddlesticks is one of the champions that I enjoyed last year, and going through this experience of what it feels like to get one of your champions reworked, and there's some fear of losing him because he will never be the same Fiddlestick, so it's going to be a new one. So hopefully that will be a nice improvement for his already existing skills and overall aesthetic. And yeah, those were basically my predictions. I don't know how much of it is going to be true or not. We'll see. I'm expecting his announcement sometime in March, if not even end of this month. I feel it coming much sooner than Volibear because of all of the announcements. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please do share with me your thoughts if you have any predictions for, you know, Fiddlesticks, his rework, his design, and I'll see you in the next video.